Hi, this is Graham Old from howtoinductions.com. I was going to put out a quick video to promote our upcoming training, but firstly I want to explore a debate that's taking place in hypnosis circles, has done for hundreds of years, but is come out with renewed energy recently. And that's the whole debate on the definition of hypnosis. Is an unconscious mind? What is trance? And so on. It's a kind of debate that in one sense only interests hypnotists and the academic arena, as we have this kind of internal debate on what it is that we're doing. But on the other hand, it's often the first question that will be asked by clients, whether it's on stage or clinic, what is hypnosis? What is it you're about to do to me? And really what the client or the subject is after is that very question, what is it you're going to do to me? What am I going to experience? And what it is that the academics and hypnotists are debating is, what is it that takes place within the internal mechanism of the mind, if you like, or what is it the hypnotist is doing? And they're actually two separate debates. But we get so caught up in this one that we're not really listening to what it is that the client or the subject is asking us. That's an important distinction to make at the very beginning. So let's start by acknowledging that there are different models of hypnosis. They've been around for quite some time, and they really range from the view that the subject, say in a stage arena, the subject is faking it, nothing's happening, and they go the right spectrum of views all the way around to there are different brainwave states, there are different states of consciousness that the client is experiencing. So there's a whole range of views. You can start with the faking it view, would be the wide extreme that goes moves slightly on to the social role-taking view, popularised by Sabin and others, through to the socio-cognitive view, sometimes referred to as cognitive behavioural view. I think that's a slight misnomer, where you have there someone who believes something to such an extent, they believe an imagined thing to the extent that they experience it as true. Moving on to a systems theory, onto cognitive dissociation or neo-dissociation, and this view interestingly gets slightly closer to some of the stuff Alman would say. This is the idea that we can shut off or become dissociated from a certain part of our brain. So we can, in one sense, be playing a role or even faking something in one part of our brain, but shut down that part of our brain so we experience it as real. So we wonder, why is it our arm is levitating or rising up from a chair? I'm not doing that. Well, part of our brain is doing that, part of our brain knows we're doing it, but we kind of shut off or become dissociated from that part of the brain. There's a view that this actually is related to sleep and dreaming, and that we're accessing the part of our brain that imagines and daydreams and can be creative and visualise. We're accessing it so powerfully, such energy is put into that, it's brought such to the forefront of our mind, if you like, that we experience it as real, not as a daydream, like waking sleep, if you like. Then there's the view of altered states of consciousness, that we go into a trance state, we go into hypnotic trance. You get people then talking about depths of trance, different brainwave states and so on. And they're different models. It's very obviously brief explanation, but you have the whole spectrum of views. I just want to explain that. And now the point here is that they are models, that they're not to be taken literally. Unless you're an academic, there's no benefit in tying your colours to the mast of one particular theory. Unless you're writing a research paper or trying to make big bucks in a training school, there's no reason to present one particular model, one particular theory as the truth. I just see no benefit. However, having a working knowledge of these particular models and their strengths and weaknesses can be really beneficial in explaining it to a client. You might take that whole spectrum, in fact, and say to them, what I'd like you to do is to imagine something, and what we're going to do is paint a picture of a new reality so effectively that your brain begins to act as if it's actually true, and it then becomes for you a new reality. Let me give you an example. And when I go straight into magnetic hands, you all know magnetic hands, I'm sure. If you don't, there's a link at the bottom of the screen, or you can get an explanation of it, excuse me. And what you're doing there in magnetic hands is ask them to imagine something so effectively, to become so absorbed in that imagination, that it becomes true for them. They become so fully focused on it that they almost become detached from the part of their brain or the other external stimulations that would say this isn't true. They become so absorbed in it that it becomes true for them. Now, I like to explain hypnosis to clients in that way, giving them that whole broad spectrum of views of models, and they're not aware, of course, what model I'm explaining to them, but it's something they can pick up on, it's something they can buy into. Yeah, they've had experiences where they believed something that they knew wasn't true, but they believed it and acted as if it was true until it began to feel true and almost in that sense become true. A common example I'll use is someone watches a horror film. And that's a great example because they're watching it and they know it's not true, and the big part of their mind knows it's not true initially. Until they get so absorbed in the scene and they find they're having physiological reactions to the music as their hair stands on end and their heart starts beating and their body begins to react as if this is true. And there's still a part of them knows it's not true, but perhaps it's, metaphorically speaking, it's now a smaller part of them, it's a lesser part of them knows it's not true. Until they get to the point where they're actually scared and they're watching this thing on the screen and they know it's not true, of course. They know it's plastic and it's makeup and it's all make-believe, but now pretty much 99% of them is acting as if this is true, and they're scared. They're scared of something that is an imagined reality, and it may as well have become their actual reality. And I use that as a simple explanation for clients. And I don't say to them what I'm doing here is taking you from Sabin's view all the way around to the altered states of consciousness view. I just present it as a simple explanation. A horror movie, they can all kind of pretty much relate to that. I then say it's a bit like this, show magnetic hands, they've experienced that. And I can say to them, that's kind of what it will be like for you as you experience hypnosis. Want to give it a go? They'll say yes, they've already begun to experience some of that, and we're in there.